Thermal Soundwaves.
It is Thermal Soundwaves, the natural alternative to fast food radio. We're here, C.Truth. Now, joining me today is someone who is super talented, very skilled. She does a lot of things. She's a singer, she's an MC, a songwriter, a snowboarder, and I'm sure there's some other things that I'm leaving out right now that we're going to get to, we're going to find out. But joining me right now, without any further ado, is Miranda Writes. What's happening?
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that
Absolutely.
intro too. That was amazing. I may have to like get this sound bite and use it for the intro for my next track.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I'll get that to you right away, right away. So let's start with the unconventional. Let's start with snowboarding and snowboarder and how you got to that particular sport. Where'd that all begin for you?
Yeah, so my mom is from Pennsylvania. My dad is from the Bronx, so a little bit of context there. So my mom, she grew up skiing in the mountains, and she, it became a thing where she's like, I always like to go skiing, so she kind of suckered my dad into getting into the mountains. But skiing wasn't really his thing, so he said, I'm going to start snowboarding, and I've been snowboarding now for about 14 years. So when we were kids, that was just something that like we did. Like when I was a teenager, it was like it started really as like my parents forcing me to go with them to the mountain because I was like, I don't know if I want to go snowboarding. I don't know if I want to go snowboarding. And I just fell in love with the sport, and it's just. I always tell people there's something really special and grounding about going to the top of a mountain and riding down it. And it's just like an experience where it's kind of hard to describe. You just want everybody to experience that. So I kept snowboarding, and then I started snowboarding with my friends after school, whatever have you. And then eventually I just started making music about snowboarding because I loved it that much. And I just saw that there was like, no rappers who were snowboarding or any females. So it was like, well, if nobody else is talking about it, I have to talk about this. And then that's kind of how it started. And then it led to me working with snowboarding nonprofits and then Burton Snowboard. So I feel like it was just something that started from the heart, from like my love of nature and the sport that opened up all these doors for me. And that's really amazing. So I'm grateful for that.
Well, thank you for doing it in the hip hop space, to showing people, which I tell
Yes,
people all the time, hip hop is everything. There's
for sure.
everything you can think of. Somebody in the hip hop is doing it, covering it, rapping about it, or in the lifestyle. So thank you for putting that
Yeah.
piece, the hip hop, and big up to my homie Crazy Al Kane, who does a lot of things with BMX and hip hop. As far as that goes, like
Yes.
BMX riding and stuff like that. So he does a lot of stuff with that. So big ups to him for doing that. Did you ever get into
Yeah,
that,
that's it.
or have you ever
I've
done
never
BMX?
I've never done it, but I've always thought it was so cool. I just feel like extreme sports in general. I mean, like any professional athlete competing at that level, it takes a different kind of person to do that. Like the training that goes into it, the conditioning of your body. Like I always say, like whether you're doing BMX or whether you're doing snowboarding, like that sport is not for the weak. In order to progress, you get hurt.
Yeah,
It's one of those things where you kind of fail forward. And I know that from experience, like trying new things usually has led to me getting hurt. So I feel like anybody who's competing at that professional level, it's like, that it's coming with sacrifice because you don't just get good by not falling,
exactly. Yeah.
you
And I
know?
tried BMX myself
So
personally, so I know how it feels to actually get out there and fall on the track and all of that. So it's fun though. It's kind of inspiring
yeah,
and invigorating when you do it and when you do try to do it. So definitely, it's
yeah,
Thermal
for
Sound
sure.
Waves. We're here with recording artist, singer, songwriter, snowboarder, touring MC Miranda Writes here with us here on the program. Have you ever had any major injury snowboarding?
Yes. So I had a couple concussions.
Wow.
I've had, I think, I would say three kind of serious concussions from snowboarding. And then, but, I never wanted to deter people from trying it. Sometimes you just eat shit, you know what I mean? And it's part of the sport, but like, you'll be okay. I will say my ever like serious injury was when I broke my wrist and tore the ligament in my forearm, and that happened 3 years ago now, and that was after 10 years of riding. So that's the other thing is like sometimes things just happen.
Right.
It was really, really crappy conditions that night. And I probably should have called it quits like 2 runs prior to that because it was just not good riding conditions. It was super icy and I was night riding and showing off my friends and it just went wrong. And that's when I knew I needed surgery, this whole big thing. But there is a way, I always tell people wear a helmet, protect your brain, even though I feel like people look like they're cooler, so to speak, without a helmet, but nothing is cooler than making sure that your brain is intact. So if you're trying stuff, you just have to be safe about it and take care of your body and listen to your body. And when your body's tired, to just stop for the day. Because that's usually what happens. It's like you ride all day, you're having all this adrenaline, but like your physical is like, I'm tired from riding down these mountains. And then you're like, let me go for one more run. And it's always on that last run. That's why they say never call it last run, that you usually tweak a little
Right.
something.
No question, no question. Now, Miranda has been featured in Forbes magazine and White Lines, which is the snowboarder's Bible and such. What did it take for you to kind of overcome those injuries, as somebody who's doing a extreme sport and a high performance sport, number one, and number two, I've always marveled at, because I can't do it myself, at least not yet, how you keep your balance on that one blade on the snowboard, like how you do that. So I'm amazed by that.
Thank you. I mean, I think it's weird. I think it's one of those things. Like I said, I tried skiing first, and I just could not get the separation. It was just like a lot for me to have like 2 separate skis, 2 poles. I felt like there was a lot going on. And I feel like the snowboard was easier because I like the idea of being strapped in. And like I said, it's just a learning process. I think it's something that everybody can learn. And there's people like I have friends who have gone snowboarding 2 times. And it's like you would think that they've been snowboarding for 5 years. And then there's other people that try and it just takes them longer. Like for me, it definitely took me longer just to get the rhythm of it because I would go and then maybe I didn't go to the mountain for another 2 weeks. So I think a lot of it is also just consistency and repetition. I always say within life, I don't know if it's so much of, I feel like there's talent, but I also feel like there's skill. And I feel like practice makes perfect, right? So that's with everything. It's like if you do the same thing every single day, you're going to get better at it. And I feel like it's the same thing with snowboarding.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I've done skiing. I was able to get that done, but snowboarding was a whole other story. So about the injuries, how did you overcome the injuries? Like what did it take for you to get over those?
Yeah, I would say the mental was like harder than the physical because it was really bad timing. Like it was just bad timing in the sense where it was like it was like the very end of winter going into spring and summer. And I remember when I fell, I knew at the mountain that I did something wrong because I was just a pain that I never experienced before. But like I feel like I'm one of those people. I'm always playing it cool. So you know what? Maybe I'm fine. Maybe just a bad sprain. Um, and I waited like 5 days before finally going to the hospital because it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So they were like, you need surgery. And like that was probably the biggest blow for me was not the physical pain, but the accepting that I was going to have a sling and cast for the entire summer. Like it was hot out. That kind of sucked. So it took a lot of just kind of meditation, finding like gratitude. I was trying to still make music and be creative. So, do I do as crazy things on a snowboard now? No. Because truthfully, it's like, I travel half the year and it's like I have to, be able to do certain things career wise to keep doing what I'm doing. So I'm playful, but I'm cautious, so to speak. But, it's like at the same time that because that happens, it was always like a fear of happening, right? So you never really want to get hurt. And then I'm like, well, one of the worst things that could have ever happened to me, like in terms of like a serious injury and getting surgery happened. So it was also kind of like once I finally got that confidence to go back out on the mountain, that first day out was kind of weird because I was just kind of scared. But then once I went down the mountain, it made me just like fall back in love with snowboarding all over again. And I kind of took away any sort of a negative experience association and just like, it's just something that happens.
Gotcha. When did you first find your creative voice within music?
That's a good question. So I've always loved music. And I kind of feel like it's something that's been in me all my life that I didn't really realize it was there until I guess maybe it was like the universe's way of saying like it's kind of time for you to embark on this. And the reason why I say that is that, there's tapes of me being like 6 and 7 and 8 years old, being like, oh, I won, my first Grammy. Thank you, like mom and dad for coming out tonight and like performing and just all those old tapes. So I feel like from a soul level, that is something that was embedded in me that I probably just never thought about until my grandma was like, she's always like, I can't believe you're doing the things you're doing now because it's been with you since you've been a kid. But towards the end of high school, I started just writing poetry as kind of just like a way to express myself. And then I started rapping. And then whenever it was time for me to graduate high school, I just started going to all the park jams. And that was whenever I met your Grand Wizard Theodores and Public Enemy and Ice-T and Immortal Technique and all of these guys. And I just submerged myself in everything hip hop culture. And I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to make this all work, but I just know that this is where I'm meant to be. And I haven't looked back since.
Gotcha. Who are some of the people that inspire you hip hop wise?
Yeah, so Missy Elliott is my favorite female rapper of all time. She's just so iconic, and I think she's just really good at giving people a little bit of everything. So I love her. I was a diehard Eminem fan, just his lyricism and his delivery. Jay-Z, Jay-Z can say anything and it sounds cool. Um, and then, Wu-Tang, like I just feel like there was a lot of different artists that I just love different things. And just coming from New York City, it's like I always say, like, I feel like I'm so fortunate that I'm from New York because I'm from like the coolest state in America. I mean, like there's just so much talent and art and culture there. So I think I've just picked up so many influences just from the day to day. And yeah, I think hip hop is just the gift of expression, Biggie, Pac, and then it's like you just see everything that people are doing now. And I feel like even in pop music and all different genres, hip hop is in every single genre now. And that's why people have a hard time differentiating, like, what is it? Like, even with me, they're like, I don't know. Is she hip hop? Is she pop? Is she pop rap? Is she dance? But it's like hip hop is the core of a lot of what we hear and listen to. So I always say, like, our culture is in every day. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, how did you manage to become the touring MC of the legendary Harlem Globetrotters? Like, how did that? And are you the first to have that title as a woman, or just period?
Yeah. So, do you want to hear the story first, or you want to hear the title first?
Well, let's get to the title. Let's hear the title, and then we can do the story.
Okay, I love it. So, for as far as I know, I'm the second female ever to host for them, and they've been around for 99 years. So I think there's something to be said for that. And their first like female announcer was about 15 years ago. So when it comes to women representation, I take a lot of pride in that. And I'm their first ever female MC to ever tour with them internationally. So that means a lot to me. And then in terms of how I got involved with them, so I saw that they were looking for a new MC. Like it literally, I knew, you know how when they say that there's something for you, that it just comes to you?
Yes.
Like I was just sitting like on my computer and I just saw like Harlem Globetrotters like looking for a new MC. And I'm like, this is kind of crazy. And I just, reached out. I applied for it, literally like filled out like a formal application. They flew me out to Atlanta for an audition, and that same day they offered me the tour. But
Wow.
it was just kind of surreal because it was like when I saw that listing, like I felt like it was for me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then when I got there, I felt like it was for me. And there was a bunch of like amazing women who were actually trying out that day. So they were definitely looking for like a female to try and get more some like female representation. But thankfully, I got the spot, and I'm getting ready to go on my third world tour in a few weeks with them.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So, number one, what are the duties of a tour MC for the Harlem Globetrotters? And number two, what are some of your favorite spots that you've been on touring internationally with the Trotters?
Yeah, so I mean, we have long days. I always say it's funny because everybody's just like, you're on tour. And I will say, yes, like it is incredible to get paid to perform and travel and all those different things. And it's also definitely a job, like with anything else. You know what I mean? We have long days, we work hard. Our doors open at 7, but I host a pregame slot. So we do like a pregame magic pass where people come in. Then I host throughout the game. I introduce the Globetrotters. I do everything from halftime. I do post game announcements, fan activation. So there's a lot of stuff that I do on a daily basis in terms of hosting. I love it because I love working with people. So
And
sorry, I
there's
don't know who's screaming in the coffee
right,
shop,
right.
but
The people actually love your interview right now.
I know. Yeah.
So you're saying about, yes, your duties with the
Yes.
Globetrotters.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I got distracted from the screaming in the public place. But anyway, favorite places. That's what you asked me. I apologize. So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I can only just take the time to talk about Europe. That was amazing. Like that was always one of my dreams to travel through Europe and to be able to do that and to see some of the most beautiful places in the world. Like it's like, I went to Italy for 3 weeks, and I had a chance to go to Venice and have fresh fish from the canal. I've had a chance to
Oh,
post videos rapping in front of the Eiffel Tower. Germany was super cool. I went to Poland. And then we hit Hungary, which was amazing. Like we did about a 16 country run. So it was a lot of traveling. France was great. The south of France is beautiful. And then too, it's like you just meet so many people. And I always say that's why like culture is such a beautiful thing, just being with other people and seeing how they live and just interacting with them. You just pick up on so much. And it's just like a reminder that we're all different, but yet we're all the same. And my favorite tour stop, though, and I love Turkey. Turkey was amazing as well, Istanbul. But we had a chance to go to Egypt, and Egypt
oh,
was our last stop, and it got added on like last minute. And that was my favorite highlight. Like, what's funny? Like, I've always wanted to go to France. I've always wanted to do all these things, but yes, Egypt, the energy
yeah,
there is
yeah.
truly,
It's
they call it the motherland. Like people mean that and they say that for a reason. It's a very special, sacred place. And like just looking at the pyramids, like I just like stood there and I was just like, I can't believe that I'm here right now. So yeah, those are memories that you just cherish forever, you know?
absolutely. I don't know if you are going to, or maybe had aspirations to do the Olympics, but wouldn't it be nice to hit the Olympics snowboarding, win a medal, and then rap on the podium after getting your medal? I'm just saying,
Well, I'm
just throwing that out
I,
there.
I mean, shout outs to all the Olympic riders. I'm definitely not on that level. So, it takes true training and a different level of skill to be an Olympian. However, it would be an absolute dream. Yes, if you want to put me on the podium, put me on the podium, but I would love to be at the Olympics, perform at the Olympics, interview people within the sport, be able to host there just as somebody who's part of that and be, a part of the community. I think that means more. So, yeah, I love that. We just put that into the universe. So
Oh,
let's
no
see.
doubt, no doubt. And have you ever played basketball or had aspirations to do basketball? I mean, now that you're touring with the Globetrotters, maybe you can incorporate that if that's a skill that you have also.
Yeah, so the guys always make fun of me because they're all my friends and they're all like 6'8", and they're like, "Come on, Miranda, let's see your shot." You know what I mean? So they like to tease me, but I did actually play basketball when I was in elementary school, and I wasn't, that good. I was a pretty good shooter though. Like I feel like my shot, like the form may make you laugh, but the shot usually goes in the basket. So, but I did play basketball. My dad was actually my coach for like 2 years. And he would be like, "Come on, you're not working hard enough. You got to do this. You got to do that."
Right,
So it's
right.
just kind of funny that, years and years later, now, I'm hosting basketball. But I love basketball. I feel like, it's same thing. It's a great sport, but like
Oh
same thing
yeah.
being from New York. We're always rooting for our Knicks. Like basketball culture is a big thing to us. And street ball too. It's like you grow up in New York City, everybody plays ball. It doesn't cost much
Hmm.
to get a basketball. So everybody hangs out in the park. So it's cool to be part of like this side of history because it makes me feel close to home in a strange way.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's a growing sport. That's my favorite sport by far, basketball. Like I watch
Yes.
all different types from the league to the W to college to Big Three. Like I watch all that. I'm into all that. I love basketball. That's
And
like my
I
favorite
and
sports.
I love yes, and I love to see how women's basketball is finally getting the attention that it deserves. I feel like for so long it was like we only focus on just NBA, NBA, NBA. So it's so cool to see, like Angel Reese, all of these women, Caitlin Clark, like they're putting on for the future generation
Yeah,
of
yeah.
athletes, and I think it's really cool to see. I'm like, and this is what they're doing now. I'm really excited to see how women's basketball is going to keep progressing
Oh, it's
over the
it's gonna
next.
be crazy. I've seen that college. I've
Absolutely.
been watching college ball too. Like
Hmm.
some of the young ladies that they got coming up. Whew. If you think that what's in the W now is like top, wait till you see what's coming after. It's gonna be just
Yeah,
super,
no, for
super
sure,
crazy.
and that's exciting. I think it's like it's about time, honestly.
No question, no question. Well, Miranda Writes, joining us here on Thermal Soundwaves. She has a single out right now that's called Pose. We've played that, we've been playing that. And where can they get that? Where can they find the album when that drops and get more information about yourself? And if you're watching this, you can see a scrolling little screen on the bottom where we have all her information, her website, Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. So
Yes, I love it. Yeah. Pose is out now. That is my latest single that I'm pushing that I absolutely love. It's available on all platforms, Spotify, Amazon, Tidal, like every music platform you can think of is there, you guys. So please give it a follow. If you love it, I always say the best way to show love to us indies artists is just sharing it with a friend. Share it with a friend. But it's Miranda Writes, WRITES on all platforms.
definitely, definitely. And one last question. What made you take the indie route as opposed to trying to sign with a major or label that's, been out there for a while?
Yeah, I mean, I've been indie for so long and I'm not even opposed to signing to a major. Like I always say, I always try to be careful with my words in terms of what I say I will do and what I won't do because I feel like it's like you never know if the right situation comes to you. That could be the best deal at the time. But I will say a perk of being indie is being able to do all of the things that I'm doing and have fun doing it. And yeah, I'm always just excited for the adventure and seeing where the next one takes me, and whether that means being independent for the next 10 years or ending up signing with a label that wants to support what I'm doing. You just never know. But yeah, it's definitely dope to represent for the indie artists.
Absolutely. So make sure y'all check her out, Miranda Writes, on all streaming platforms. Check out the video. The video is very fun, high energy. You can tell she was having a good time in there. And catch her at the next, local stop when the Globetrotters come to town. Make sure you catch her doing that as well.
Yes, I'll be on the West Coast this year. So for all my West Coast people, slide in my DMs. I know it sounds funny, but I literally tell people that like if you want to come to a game, slide into my DMs. Like I am happy to give you free tickets to the game. So
Nice.
I'm thankful for the support and thank you so much, C.Truth. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time and for the love and spinning pose, all that good stuff. So thank you.
No question. Thank you. Continued success to you. And hey, maybe one day the Olympics thing that's gonna come down and happen. You know what I mean? So, but remember, y'all
we
heard
just
that
put
here
it out
first. You heard that here first.
Yes.
So thank you very much. Enjoy your day, night, and keep doing what you're doing. Continued success.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely, no doubt. It is Thermal Soundwaves, a natural alternative to fast food radio. A lot more in store coming to you. Keep it locked right where it is. Until next time, I say peace.
Thermal Soundwave.